Hello Autobots and Decepticons, my name is Sooo Mungry, and today I have a special video. I have with me
the Turtle of Doom.
Booyah! And today we are going to be talking about Transformers Fall of Cybertron and what we saw at E3. And this is a live gameplay, so we apologize already for our gameplay, as I only have 1 day, 1 hour in Escalation total, and the Turtle of Doom coming in with a whopping 8 hours and 23 minutes.
Do I have that much?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're crazy.
I thought I'd have like 5 minutes.
Well, you did have 23 minutes. So that was good. So I figured we'd talk about, they showed Escalation, so we could probably start out with that right away. And I mentioned those stats right away because I wanted to ask you, what did you see that will make you play more of Escalation, since we obviously both didn't play too many Escalation games?
Well, the thing I liked about it was he was talking about it's more team-based, I guess, and all the abilities seem like they've been changed for Escalation, or they're more based on how teamwork works in Escalation. It seems like everyone kind of has a different ability from their campaign. I don't know if that's true or not. I know Optimus probably doesn't have like Metroplex and Escalation. So it seems like they made it more team-based and gave people abilities that would actually help towards Escalation instead of just having the same ability for like all game types.
Right. We saw the Starscream had a healing turret, so he can like swoop in, heal people in trouble, and then we also saw Megatron.
He did a terrible job using that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was the first time Escalation player or Transformers game.
Yeah, probably first time he ever played that.
So, what did you said you saw Megatron's Escalation ability? What was that?
The riot shield thing.
Okay. Do you see that being useful in a team base?
Not really. I like his whole Dark Energon storyline, so I like him having the drain ability. I don't get how the shield fits Megatron's personality at all. I see that. I know Grimlock has like the shield, so I don't know if is he going to be an Escalation? Grimlock?
I don't think they said anything about that, but they said he wasn't going to be in multiplayer for sure, so I don't know if that includes Escalation or not. But the thing I can see being kind of useful, or fitting Megatron with the shield, is he's kind of the leader, so he can kind of push forward and lead the way, I guess, with the shield, I guess. I don't know, did they mention, I don't remember them mentioning the other people's abilities. I believe it was Shockwave and Soundwave?
Yeah, I saw Soundwave has a turret. I don't know what Shockwave had. I forget. I don't know if he went over that far enough in the menu to show what Shockwave had.
Or that probably guy just died every time, too.
Yeah. I wanted to see Soundwave, but he didn't show that, so...
Yeah. And a couple things that I noticed off the bat, I'll ask you, too, what you noticed off the bat. The first thing I noticed in Escalation was, on the top right, I believe, they had a number, and it was 1 of 15 waves. So it looks to be that it's going to be a never-ending wave, or it's not going to be a never-ending wave. Your thoughts on that, I guess?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I probably did. Still, I thought this one ended, right? Doesn't this one end?
No, you can go
you have to fight
Infinity.
the Titan or whatever. Can you?
Yep.
All right, I thought there was like an achievement for getting to the highest wave of this one, which just shows how little I've played this.
Yeah, you get the achievement, but it just keeps going on and on. There's people that made it to like wave hundreds and stuff.
Alright, yeah. See, that's what I like about, I think it's like Gears of War, when you have a goal in like the horde mode game types and you can actually finish it. I like that better than just going on forever.
I agree, because then you'll see like the bosses, or a boss maybe at the end, and then the people actually get harder and harder instead of just more and more of the hard people coming at the end.
Yeah.
I personally like the closure
Adds
to
a little bit more story.
Yep, exactly. And I think there are different difficulties, so there's like easy, medium, hard, maybe like an extra difficulty that they add in at the end, or DLC to make more waves or something, and then it could get more interesting. I don't know, instead of just endless madness, because there's times in this game where I'm like, oh my gosh, when is this going to end, after like 3 hours of playing Escalation.
That's why I don't play it too much.
Yeah. But you're not a huge Escalation person, you said. They're like zombies. Nope. I played a lot of zombies, and I think that they kind of got some things with it. Like, in the Escalation, I also noticed there is a mystery box.
Yes,
did you see
I
that?
saw that. Yep. Reminded me automatically of zombies.
Yes. I think that's a good addition, though. In all honesty, I think that'll add. I don't know if you can. The guy got weapons off of it. He got a couple weapons. I don't know if you can get anything else.
Yeah, I forget. He said like abilities. I think is something he mentioned. I'm not sure what that meant. Pretty sure he said ability. Wow, that explodes. Something. I forget what he said, but it surprised me. Whatever he said, because I know he said weapons, and then he said something else, and I can't remember what it was. But it sounds like there's going to be more than just weapons in there.
Okay. So I think that looks pretty cool. There's also, you can use the shop, and you can also buy different ammo around the map, but the thing that he did mention with the ammo and stuff, and like the health, is you can only buy it at a certain like spot on the map once during that wave. Yeah. So that adds like more team base, I guess, into it, because you gotta like communicate, it forces you to communicate. Yeah. So do you like that aspect, or do you want to be like hogging all the health?
For me, yeah, for me, I'm more of a in it for myself kind of guy, so that would probably be something
that's a
I
typical
wouldn't be happy about.
Coming out
well, of course, yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I suck at Escalation, so I don't know if the difficulty is gonna make me not need health as much, or if there's gonna be some characters like with the drain ability that can get their health back. So I'll have to wait and see about that one.
Okay. So, do you have anything, I guess, I'm trying to think of anything off the top of my head while we play. It's kind of difficult to think of things on Escalation. Is there any other things of Escalation that you remember or recall that stood out to you?
I know he said something about like the traps, which I guess they have in this game. Do they have traps in this game?
Oh, they do, but they're pretty much lousy in my opinion. They have like the barrier on the map Rust. I can't remember what it's called actually in Escalation, and it's like an electrocution thing that zaps people on the way through. And they also have turrets that you can buy. I think those are all back.
That's right. Yeah. But it seems like the traps are a little bit more in depth this time, and they each seem, map specific and something like that. So maybe that'll be fun, luring everyone into one place and hitting a trap.
Yeah. Did he say anything about like upgrades, like towards your like a certain specific weapon, like you pack-a-punching it, like for instance? Did you see anything like that?
I don't think so. But that might be in there. Maybe that's what you get out of the mystery box, is an upgrade for your weapon or your character or something like that. A temporary one.
Because I think that would be kind of a cool thing to do. It would help. But I don't know if the waves are not endless, so I don't know if that would be absolutely necessary now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be kind of cool. I mean, without the endless waves, you're not going to be able to probably buy everything on one go or go around the whole map, so it'll kind of force you to play it a couple times to go different ways. So I don't know. I think it looks beautiful. It looks good. It looks cool. And they added a bunch of things. I don't know did they add like, I saw like a couple turrets around. The guy playing didn't show you anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could buy like a turret to like sit in, like actually like physically go in and just like just go ham on somebody when people are coming in like a door.
Yeah, he was kind of whipping around the map. I think he was so excited about being able to fly, he just didn't bother to look around.
And another thing I noticed with your guy that you're playing as right now, Megatron, you played with him first. The tank shot. Did you notice how explosive that was?
Yes, I did. It looked like a total redo of all the graphics when it comes to explosions and tanks and stuff, because I thought that was pretty cool looking. He exploded like a whole area of the map. That was crazy.
Do you think that will carry over to multiplayer and make the soldier a more explosive class to use?
I don't know, because the soldier is probably the one I use the least in this game, and I just like recently started playing as him. And I know you were destroying me with tank shots whenever I play with you and Edward, so I hope it's not OP. I hope that's just kind of a graphical change, not anything that affects its power, because I think it's already strong enough in this game.
Okay, and it's in the soldier's defense. The soldier's got to have the worst stuff, I think, and he's kind of like, he got hosed, I thought, and he's the soldier, for goodness sake. Like, he's Megatron, and it's like, when you got a scout out meleeing you, it's kind of like, okay.
That's the problem. It seems like, for me, like, the scientists or like the scouts have better weapons. The leader does more surviving than the soldier does, and the soldier's the one with more health. It just seems like he's too slow and not enough weapons or not enough like defense to help him with these faster, harder hitting characters. So that's why I never played him.
I don't mind like Well, I don't even know how I hate to get into multiplayer because the balance issues are. I don't know how you would go about fixing them. I mean, it's so like, it's it's tough. It's a string.
Well,
on
that's the problem I had with
sweater.
it was, and before Revenge of the Fallen came out, you know, they were bragging about, oh, every day at like 5 o'clock, everyone stops what they're doing, and you know, we all play multiplayer for an hour. And I would like to call like complete BS on that one because I don't think there's any way they could have played multiplayer that much every day and have as many balance issues as they do in this game. Or, you know, they just, I know game developers kind of like generally suck at their own games for some reason, but you know, they're never as good as the people that just play it like professionally or something like that. But I think they should have noticed some of these crazy balance issues if they did play it that much as they said they did.
Well, the problem with that is they play it and they're so like in depth that like they're like wacky like stuff that they made, so they only kind of look at that and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool, I'm killing you with this, and they don't really like think about, oh, okay, this kill's too quick. It's just more or less them looking at it and then being like, yeah, that's awesome, you know? They don't like play it against other, like they don't really care if they die or how quick they die. At least that's how I would think about it. I'd be so mesmerized with what I made. I'd be like, oh man, that is awesome. That thing destroys you one shot. Oh, that is so cool, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they really thought through on too many of the OP abilities. And I know they were trying to patch the game like crazy. Like when it came out, there were like 4 or 5 like rebalance patches, and then they just seemed to have given up. And now the game is as it is, and I'm hoping that they take what they learned from all the patches on this one and put that towards Fall of Cybertron.
Yeah. All right, let's talk just a little bit more about Escalation. We saw some weapons in there. What? I believe he used the. I want to say, did he have the lightning gun or was that the campaign only?
I think that was campaign. He used the Tron disc gun, as the guy calls it.
Okay.
And that heavy rocket launcher lock-on thing is what I remember.
Okay. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, are you okay with having like, if you can pick up a gun, it goes assigned to your primary or your heavy weapon ability?
I'm really not sure. Like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever played another game that has like a restriction on, you know, heavy weapons. Like in Halo, you just pick up, you know, the rocket launcher or the Spartan laser. I don't know if I've ever played anything else that only lets you carry one. So I'll have to wait and see about that.
I feel like that's going to help out with balance issues, in all honesty.
And it seems like the heavy weapon, like they have their own ammo, right? The heavy weapons, like normal ammo doesn't work for them. Yep. So that'll be interesting.
Because that, I feel like, if it carries over to like multiplayer, it will be like, you can't pick up a, which would be like the new frag launcher, the combustion gun, and it shoots up and over and then you explode it, which takes a little bit, that's better, in my opinion. Did you die?
Someone did.
Okay. But, like, it shoots up and then you explode it and like meteorites shower over your enemies. And you can't have like two, like that and like a thermal rocket launcher. So you have to have like, hopefully what would be like, a primary would be like more of a precision weapon, and then you have like your explosive weapon. I'm hoping. I'm not sure how that exactly works, but that prevents you from picking up that gun, a thermal rocket launcher, or like a laser gun or something. You know?
That's what I saw someone say. I think someone said like every class is supposed to use every weapon now. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like with as many weapons as they do have, and since there's restrictions on, you know, how many heavy, or you can only carry one heavy and like one normal one, I can see kind of every class being allowed to use every weapon now. I'm not sure if that's a thing or not, but I think the only differences would probably be like their abilities in between the classes. They
have to make those abilities and equipment like significantly different, because then it's kind of like brings me back to the Dark of the Moon. Like, what's the reason to not use the best character in the game? Like, there needs to be a reason to use somebody other than the best character that you're good at. Like, if you're a scientist, you want to have like maybe like the healing or something, or like provide ammo. You got to do something. Like, they got to give you a reason to actually use a different character if they're going to allow you to interchange weapons like that.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. That's just my opinion, I guess, on that. And anything else on Escalation, I guess? I'm trying to think if we forgot anything. There's the Teletran stations, like in campaign. There's all the different weapons you can buy. It's color-coded. It's very nice with that. And then if there's one guy missing, like, you gotta kill at the end of the level. They'll point him out to you.
Yeah, that's what I really liked, because I hated trying to find the last character. That's always a problem for me in horde modes, even on Mass Effect. They kind of have that on Mass Effect, but they normally come in like waves of like 3 or 4, and it only points out like the last person, so it won't show you. You know, if 4 people are stuck, that happened all the time in like the beta on Mass Effect. I know I'm talking about more about Mass Effect than this, but
that's cool. It's comparable.
Yeah, so that was the problem, because, you know, 4 people would get like stuck outside the map, and then it would only point out when there's 1 left. So I'm hoping Fall of Cybertron does a little bit better than that, and I hope no one gets stuck outside the map.
Yeah, they need to cut down on the glitches and stuff for sure.
Yes, glitches and hacking seems to be a big thing in this game, or it was at launch anyways.
Yeah, I agree. That can ruin a game pretty fast.
Yeah, I need ammo.
So, is there anything else that, off the top of your head?
I think that does it for Escalation.
Okay. Trying to just... He played Starscream, Megatron, we saw those abilities, and the maps, I guess we can talk on the map. The map looked a little bit more, I guess, more like a ranch-style home. It didn't look like it had many, like, levels.
Yeah, it seemed a lot more
flatter
compact and straightforward than... I mean, the map they showed, everything was mostly flat from what I saw. Instead of, you know, this multi-level catwalk thing and people jumping down on you from everywhere, it seemed like it's all one flat area. I guess the doors he could have opened would have shown more about that.
Yeah, but he didn't know how to buy anything or do anything.
Actually, the one thing I remember now is when he bought something, he paid in increments of 250, I think, is what it said. Instead of, you know, just pouring in money like this game. I think you have to pay in set amounts. So maybe if you don't have enough, you can't really put forward money, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he didn't really... I mean, Matt himself didn't really know, it seemed like, what was going on, which was strange.
About what he was doing. What the guy was doing, what he was doing.
The head guy, but like I mentioned to you before, he maybe just is more focused on the campaign and the story. He seems like the top guy, and they might have different sections.
It's forgivable.
Yes, it is forgivable. It's gotta be, so. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope that with the waves, the difficulty, and the teamwork, it will make me want to play the game more, because I need some interests, like some interesting things to do during it, instead of just the same waves of enemies over and over and over and over to play more Escalation in the next one.
I agree.
Any final thoughts on Escalation, then?
Nope, that's about it. That's what I saw.
That's about it. Okay. Let's move on then. We'll talk. There's a lot of E3 footage on campaign. So let's just start with Optimus. I'll let you start out if you wanna.
Optimus, his redesign, I wasn't too sure how I was gonna feel about that. From the trailer, the Metroplex trailer, I think he looks a little bit chubby from the front, but I really like his back. All those crazy, I don't know what they are, the like exhaust pipes sticking out and all the lights and everything. I think he looks awesome from the back. I'm not too crazy about how squared off they made him, but I think it'll grow on me.
Now, I believe you can, if you get the pre-order or the DLC, you won't have to even bother with that, I don't think.
Right, yeah, because
the
you're
G1
just going to play as G1, yeah. But
yeah,
some of us like hate the blocky look, and that's even more blocky than the redesign, so I think I'll pass on that one.
Okay, see, I'm a fan of the G1, so I guess to each his own on that. And I do agree, I do think he looks kind of chubby. I don't remember him ever looking that thick in any of the like cartoon series or anything, but I guess it was kind of during the war, and I guess he was well fed early.
Well, I'm wondering if they're going to have a story behind, you know, a couple of the characters looking different, because Megatron got a redesign. Starscream looks a little bit different. Shockwave looks pretty much the same.
And you know,
I'm wondering if they're going to say that, or give a story like he got hit or something, he had to get rebuilt, or I don't know if they're going to do that, or they just magically change like Gears of War. People change their clothes in every game.
Now with Megatron's look, we saw him too, and he has that vehicle mode. It looked like on their website, you probably checked out their website, how he looked on their website.
Yeah.
It looked like he would like hover in the website, but it didn't look like that in the actual game when he played through it. It didn't look like he would have a hover.
Or if he was, it wasn't hovering. I know his ability is hover, it says on the website, which is interesting because, you know, in Escalation he has the shield, so that makes me also think, you know, they're going to have different abilities depending on if you're playing campaign or Escalation.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But anyways, back on to Optimus, we saw him kind of walk through and defend the Ark, and he was using a very, very large Transformers Metroplex, and he was kind of targeting different areas. Now, this obviously won't be his ability in multiplayer because you just be Optimus and spawn in and kill everybody.
That would be stupid. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them with their complete, like, disregard for overpowered things.
Yeah.
I can see
let's give him a little credit on
I'll give him a little
that. Okay. And so what did you think about the Metroplex and the things we saw with Optimus and kind of how that went?
I thought it was cool, you know, clearly. I'm wondering if, like, each character will only have one stage to kind of show what they got, because, I don't know if, you know, every time you're going to play Optimus, are you going to have Metroplex walking around, or do you only get to play as him, like, once in the campaign? I'm kind of wondering about that, because in this one, you know, it's 3 characters to pick between, and you can pretty much keep the same guy throughout the whole campaign. So I'm wondering if you're only going to get one shot, and, like, each person's going to have their level. And, because they were talking about, you know, Starscream switches to Grimlock, so I'm wondering if that was, you know, a Starscream level, and then you jump into an only Grimlock level. And even Optimus Prime, he has a whole level clearly based around Metroplex, so I don't know if he's going to have to, or you get to play as him more after that, or if that's it.
Yeah, I don't know, like, they really were down with the variety. Like, they really stressed the variety.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of curious
to see. This one is they're really pushing, they want to have a different variety. That seems like the theme of this one is variety and transformation, is what they keep on bringing up.
Yeah, I'm a little, I don't know, like, are you worried that you're not going to, like, get to, like, know the characters as much, or, like, have a full-out experience then with that, or?
I don't know. I don't really think it'll bother me, because I hate, you know, being stuck behind only one, so I think it'll be cool to jump in everyone else's skin for a while, you know, and have a whole level based around that character's special ability. I think will be cool.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they're going to do that, you know, story-wise. If you play as Optimus one level, you know, he's kind of crucial to the story, so that's why I'm wondering if you're ever going to see him again, or if you do, will it be through someone else's, like, eyes? I'm not sure.
That's true. Yeah, I'm not too sure on how that will work. So I think overall Optimus, it showed a lot of cool things. The Metroplex was ridiculously huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that, I guess. And they showed also the Teletrans store, which showed a lot of weapons. Yeah, so it showed the variety in weapons. Yes, and like a lot of upgrades you could do to the guns along the way to make them better.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very cool. So, I guess Optimus, we can all agree, and everybody else can agree on there. It's going to be fun to just own some people with Metroplex and use Optimus as well, because he looked pretty darn strong.
Yeah. And I saw him do a combat role. And I think they said every character is going to have, you know, the sprint and, like an evade ability. Like the scouts had the dash in this one, but now it seems like everyone has that, so I'm wondering how that's going to play out in, you know, single player or multiplayer, now that everyone, like big guys like Optimus, can go flying around, you know, rolling everywhere. I wonder if there's going to be a limit on that, or if it's going to be like Revenge of the Fallen, where you just do nothing but strafe constantly the whole time. I'm wondering how that's going to
I would think it would have to have a meter, like, to come back, because otherwise it's just going to be a bunch of people rolling around. Yeah.
Because even the barrel roll in War for Cybertron in, like, car mode or jet mode, it has a little recharge time. So I want to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah. I'm not as concerned, like, depending on the map design, I know there's no, like, double jump, or we haven't seen a double jump, but it wouldn't be necessary as long as the maps aren't designed like towers, you know, like, or,
that's what everyone
you know,
was saying.
or you
I saw people worried about double jump, and I'm like, you know, if I never really got the point. I mean, they're robots. I think they should, you know, jump high. You could just easily have a single jump, but give it the, you know, the values of a double jump, and just have them jump as high as the double jump.
Yeah.
Because in this game, like, why would you ever want to just single jump when you can double jump? Because everything, like, if you want to get anywhere in this game, you're pretty much going to have to double jump. So I don't really have a problem with them taking it out if everything is designed around you only being able to jump a certain height. Because then it kind of eliminates the whole problem. So I don't have a problem with
the jump and like the dash or just the roll on the ground, I feel like that's going to add a little bit more of a skill gap between. Yeah. You know, I just feel like it's gonna make it harder. You got to be able to do that at the same time, or you got to be able to hit somebody doing that stuff. I feel like the guns are gonna come in, unless like the crazy splash damage guns are gonna like cause like a big difference. But I feel like that's gonna have a little bit more of a skill gap because it's gonna allow you to hit or make it harder for you to hit people, and it's gonna make it more skill for you to actually aim while they're rolling or
Yeah, I think
jumping
that's
and
how
dashing.
you're going to be able to tell the difference between like a good player and a noob. When you see someone taking advantage of the rolling around and the evading and all that, and then you'll see a new player just walking through, getting killed, not trying to get out of the way of anything. So I think that'll add a little bit more skill based. Because for me, War for Cybertron felt like the least skill based, I'd say. After Revenge of the Fallen, and if you're not good at Revenge of the Fallen, you're not good with the mechanics and all that, you're probably gonna do bad. But
it definitely has a learning curve.
You can just
and you have to put the practice in for Revenge.
Revenge of the Fallen. But War for Cybertron, pick the overpowered gun, pick the overpowered class, and you're good.
Yeah, but okay, I agree with that. I think the weapon balances issues kind of destroyed that in this game. But I think if they would have balanced it out and made the precision weapons better, it would have had a bigger skill gap, in my opinion.
Because I love the precision weapon, like the what does the scientist have? The photon burst rifle? Yeah, I love that thing because it's really good if you have good aim, and it is one of the few weapons that rewards skill over just
because it's like the BR.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the scout also has another weapon that I think is good. His rifle, which also it's like the DMR. It's a high damage weapon, but you have to be able to hit them, and it should be like that. You can't just like shoot a frag launcher and just blow it up randomly and just get 3 kills off of one ridiculous splash damage shot. That's anybody can have. It's not a pickup, So that I never understood. But anyways, we're getting like way off topic here. Let's go on to like another section of campaign. We saw Bumblebee's intro level.
Yeah, that was cool. We saw Soundwave rampaging in the elevator, killing everyone with rumbling as his beak flew by.
That was cool. And you mentioned that right off the bat. I was gonna say that really showed like the cinematics and what the game will have to offer for us like during the gameplay, kind of like extra things that are like, oh yeah, like you see this and it just adds a little bit more to the game, and I think that's something that we can all look forward to, and that's what I took from that level, I guess.
Well, now that you watch Prime, and we all know the Michael Bay movies, how do you feel about Bumblebee not talking? Because that's what I got from his gameplay. You don't like it?
I don't like it. I liked Bumblebee's attitude. I liked how he talked, and I liked how he was like honest, and he was still yet cocky when the Decepticons came to fight him. I liked that. I enjoyed that. That's what I liked about Bumblebee.
Yeah, at least like the G1, he was kind of like the Spider-Man of the team. He was the young, cocky, just awesome Autobot. Now it seems like since War for Cybertron and Transformers Prime is like the new backstory of all the Transformers universe, it seems like they're gonna go with Bumblebee not talking in pretty much every series from now on.
Yeah, and I don't know why that happened. Like, I don't understand. Like, was that happened from Michael Bay, right? Obviously.
Yeah, I know in the episode of Transformers Prime, Ratchet's episode, I don't know if that happened in the episodes you're on yet, but he talks about how he's still shook up about not being able to save Bumblebee and the war for Cybertron.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, because his voice gets cut out and he has to fix him, but he couldn't fix his voice, and he never felt like he did a good enough job, and now I guess we're going to be able to play the part where, he loses his voice, or it already happened, we just won't see it, but it's cool that, I think it's cool that it ties into Prime that way, but I'm still not happy about Bumblebee not having a voice in, like, any future thing from now on.
Yeah. I honestly like don't like Bumblebee as much without the voice. Like I just kind of disregard him now.
Because
like,
I love Soundwave without his voice for some reason, but Bumblebee without his voice, I feel like that's a major part of his character that's lost. Because all Soundwave does is relay information, so you can do that. Because everyone just looks at his face. So that's all he ever did. But Bumblebee, he has the cocky one-liners and all that stuff. And I just don't feel like he'll do the same.
Soundwave, he was more like he's more sinister, I guess, and Bumblebee doesn't really have that. I just spent all my money on this door. If you want to come over and help me out, that'd be awesome. But he doesn't have like that. Like he lost his whole attitude. He's just beep 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 beep. It's like really, he's like he turned from awesome Bumblebee into Wall-E.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. I don't know how other fans are going to react with that. People that aren't familiar with Prime and stuff like that, because even in Revenge of the Fallen, the game, they gave him a voice, and it showed him kind of talking to the end of the Michael Bay movies, so the fact that they went back on him not having a voice, I still don't really understand what happened there.
Yeah, and in this game, and I'm going to make a weird reference here, in Cybertron Adventures for the Wii, which was another game, he was actually a very cool character to listen to in both of them. He had good lines, he was funny, and his voice will be missed.